8.6, we're going to do example 3 together. We have this situation. The height of a diver above water during a dive can be modeled by h equals negative 16t squared plus 8t plus 48, where h is height in feet and t is time in seconds. So again, it's that very typical height right here on your y-axis and time here on your x-axis if we were going to graph it. We're not going to graph it. We're actually going to use our strategy of factoring. They want us to find the time it takes for the diver to reach the water. So this diver, is pretty high up, and then, she didn't start from 0 and then end at 0. It's not that type of situation. She's already at a fairly high up at the time that the timer begins. So her height is actually high up, it's not 0. So it's not going to be as simple as, starting here and, diving that way. She's actually diving from a higher position and probably climbing up the ladder to get up there before, so this is the time before, not that there's negative time, but it's the time before we started counting, climbing up the ladder and before the timer goes off. So anyway, what we want to do is we want to figure out, how much time does it take her to reach the water. So we're going to take our negative t squared plus 8t plus 48, and we're going to use our factoring strategy. I'm not going to graph it, we're actually going to factor it. So I see a GCF. Let's go ahead and take out a negative 8, and that's going to leave us with 2t squared minus t minus 6. Okay, so that looks great. And then we want to factor by grouping. So we're going to just kind of rearrange a little bit. We're going to rewrite negative t is actually negative 1t. So we need 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. I need factors of negative 12 that add up to be negative 1. Now hopefully you're seeing in your head negative 4 and positive 3. Remember, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. That's exactly what we need, okay? So we're going to factor by grouping. There's our GCF. We're going to take out a 2t. That's going to leave us with t minus 2. Let's take out a positive 3. That's going to leave us with t minus 2. And then to kind of clean it all up, we're going to have negative 8. And then one of our quantities is t minus 2. The other one is 2t plus 3. Okay, so we want to find out what our zeros are. So we're going to take each one and set it equal to 0. So if I add 2 to each side, I know that one of my answers is 2. And then if I subtract 3, but then divide by 2, I'm going to end up with negative 1.5, okay? Now remember what I told you, the negative time, first of all, there's no such thing as negative time. It's, in this particular context, it's probably when the diver was climbing up the ladder to get to the diving board or the diving platform so that she could actually execute her dive. So it's the time before we actually started the timer at 0. We don't start the timer until she's at her the height of the diving board, okay? So, or the platform. So anyway, this particular answer is not relevant because we're not talking about what happened when she was climbing up the ladder. We want to know after she dove, once we hit that timer, how many seconds did it take her to hit the water? And it took her 2 seconds. So that's the more reasonable answer. Okay, you're going to do the same thing for me in example 2 here. Try to give you a point. I want you to factor. Show me how you get your answer. Factor by grouping if you need to, and show me in the space below how you get your answer. Okay, box in the one that's relevant and important. Mark out the one that isn't. Okay, good luck. Bring your questions to class.